They hired a big movie star, Arnold Schwarzenegger, to take my place. And we know how that turned out. The ratings went right down the tubes. It's been a total disaster.
Arnold, I have a great idea. Why don't we switch jobs? You take over TV, because you're such an expert in ratings, and I take over your job. And then people can finally sleep comfortably again.
So being from Europe, I have seen firsthand how things can spin out of control. I know there is a fear in this country and all over the world that something like this could happen right here.
What do you get when you mix the Terminator, a failed coup, and a whole lot of broken glass? Apparently a history lesson we all needed to hear. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Arnold Schwarzenegger just dropped a truth bomb that's got everyone from politicians to popcorn vendors talking. He's drawing a line between the shattered windows at the Capitol and the broken dreams of democracy, and let me tell you, it's not pretty.
As an immigrant to this country, I would like to say a few words to my fellow Americans. President Trump sought to overturn the results of an election, and of a fair election. President Trump is a failed leader. He will go down in history as the worst president ever. The good thing is that he soon will be as irrelevant as an old tweet. Very aware of Kristallnacht, or the Night of Broken Glass. It was a night of rampage against the Jews carried out in 1938 by the Nazi equivalent of the Proud Boys.
Remember when Arnold's biggest enemy was a liquid metal robot? Well, now he's got his sights set on an orange one. Our favorite Austrian turned American action hero has been on quite the journey, from flexing his muscles on the big screen to flexing his political muscles in California. But lately, Arnold's been showing off a different kind of strength, the kind that comes from standing up to your own party. You see, Arnie's relationship with the Republican Party has been about as rocky as his marriage to Maria Shriver. He's been giving them the side eye for a while now, especially when it comes to their response to Trump's shenanigans. In fact, he's so disappointed in his fellow Republicans that he's basically calling them a bunch of spineless jellyfish. Ouch. That's gotta hurt more than a Terminator punch to the gut.
You famously said that the Republican Party has a problem at the box office. I heard you equate the GOP with the Titanic. Explain.
The reason why I said it was because their policies were such that they were not really including everybody. And we were losing them because we were not addressing those issues. So I was telling them, I said, look, the way you're going, being so anti, healthcare reform and being so anti-environment and stuff like this, we are losing and we are dying at the box office.
But hold on to your MAGA hats, folks, because Schwarzenegger just dropped a political bombshell that's making waves bigger than his biceps. In a plot twist worthy of a Hollywood blockbuster, our action hero has endorsed Kamala Harris for the 2024 election. That's right, the Governator is crossing party lines faster than he used to cross dimensions in his movies. Now, you might be thinking, what in the name of Conan the Barbarian is going on here? Well, Arnold's got a simple explanation. I will always be an American before I am a Republican. Boom, drop the mic, Arnie. He's basically telling Trump and his MAGA minions that their divisive rhetoric is about as welcome as a predator at a peace conference. Oh wait, there's more. Arnold's not just mad, he's got receipts. He's been firing off criticisms at Trump like he's wielding a verbal Uzi. And let me tell you, these burns are hotter than the molten steel pit at the end of Terminator 2. Arnold's latest zinger? He says Trump will soon be as irrelevant as an old tweet. Ouch. Somebody get the Donald some aloe vera for that burn. It's like watching a political action movie unfold in real time. On one side, we've got the Trumpinator, a relentless machine programmed to spew alternative facts and covfefe. On the other, we've got Arnold, the unexpected hero who switched from terminating bad guys to terminating bad politics.
The only thing is that we don't have to go under completely. We don't have to wait for that moment. Let's change and let's go and be more open and go back to this kind of like a big tent idea of Ronald Reagan. And I think this is why we have helped it to some extent here in California with the getting rid of gerrymandering and to do redistricting reform and to have open primaries.
Independents are about to overtake Republicans in California. What can California do differently?
I think independents are going to take over The Republicans are going to take over the Democrats also.
Hold on to your lederhosen, folks, because Arnold's about to take us on a wild ride from post-war Austria to post-election America. What could these two vastly different times and places possibly have in common? Let's just say it involves shattered glass and shattered dreams. Our favorite Terminator didn't always have bulging biceps and a Hollywood career. Nope. Little Arnold was just a tyke in Austria after World War II, surrounded by the aftermath of a country that had lost its marbles. I mean, its democracy. Born in 1947, just 2 years after the war ended, baby Schwarzenegger had a front row seat to the societal dumpster fire left behind by the Nazi regime.
What do you think about Donald Trump running for president again?
You know, I think that's the past. And I think that we have to march into the future. And I think there are very talented people in this country on the Republican side that can run. So I will go, look in the future rather than in a rear mirror.
Picture this. Instead of protein shakes and dumbbells, young Arnold was surrounded by broken men drowning their sorrows in beer. These weren't just your average barflies, though. Arnold remembers them as guys drinking away the guilt over their participation in the most evil regime in history. Talk about a heavy hangover. Now, you might think Arnold's beef with Trump is just another Hollywood feud, but it goes way deeper than that. The Governator sees some pretty scary similarities between post-election America and his childhood in Austria. It's like deja vu, but with more Twitter rants and less lederhosen. Here's where things get really interesting. Arnold's own dad was mixed up with the Nazi party, but he noticed something crucial about the men in his community. They weren't all frothing at the mouth bad guys. Many of them just went along for the ride. As Arnold put it, not all of them were rabid anti-Semites or Nazis. Many just went along, step by step, down the road. Sound familiar? It's like watching a political version of Follow the Leader, but the consequences are way worse than just falling off a cliff.
His trip this year to Auschwitz, which was the first time he'd been there. Remember, his father was a Nazi. And he talked about anti-Semitism. We talked about a feud he had in the 90s with Sylvester Stallone. There's a lot there.
Feels like it's close enough to Friday already.
Yeah,
after the week
who knows what day it is.
I know.
Yeah.
All right.
It's working. There's our promo coming up Friday night at 10:30. Hope people can watch.
Absolutely. All right.
And so all of that is coming up tomorrow night on The Issue Is at 10:30, or Friday night at 10:30 on The Issue Is.
So, what's the connection between Arnold's childhood memories and the mess we're in now? Well, our muscular friend sees a dangerous pattern. Just like those men in Austria, many Americans are letting themselves be led down a slippery slope. It's not about goose-stepping and evil mustaches anymore. Now it's about alternative facts, Twitter tirades, and a certain orange-tinted fellow who shall not be named, but rhymes with dump. Arnold's warning us, democracy is fragile, like a delicate glass ornament. And just like in post-war Austria, he's seeing cracks starting to form in America's democratic foundation. The Capitol riots? That's not just a tantrum, folks. That's the sound of shattering glass. Arnold's not done flexing his political muscles, folks. The Terminator's got one more zinger up his sleeve, and it's a doozy. He's comparing democracy to his trusty Conan sword. The more you beat it, the stronger it gets. Take that wannabe dictators. But Arnie's not just here to drop sick burns, he's got a message for all of us. Support democracy, not demagogues. That means no more falling for orange-tinted con men who promise the moon and deliver nothing but chaos. And in true Schwarzenegger style, he's leaving us with a promise that would make any movie fan grin. I'll be back to vote for democracy. Oh, Arnie, you lovable political powerhouse. Who knew the guy who once played a killer robot from the future would become such a champion for American values? It's like he's determined to terminate threats to our democracy, one catchy one-liner at a time.